fuck you doing?
Remember that name, Good Pizza, with 3 Z's, baby, 3 Z's.
What's up, guys? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, check this out. Today's for the OGs because we got an OG in the building. The homie Pat, aka the Soil King, came through to tell his story. This dude had a wild upbringing. I'm talking about from the very start. Definitely had the cards stacked against him. He managed to get through it all. He started growing cannabis, got locked up for cannabis at the tender age of 11. Where do you guys hear this story, man? He's still doing it. He tells us about all the businesses he's started, grown, sold, etc. What he's up to now, what he's still bringing to the game to this day, man. Like I said, man, this is one's for the youngsters, everybody from my generation, the OGs, and everybody in between. We'll see y'all on the show. Where'd you come in from, dude? I just seen you touring somewhere.
I just was in SoCal. Nice. I went to No Till Kings, dropped some soil, and then I went to our facility, Rosin Tech in Torrance.
Nice.
And shot up here. Now I'm heading up north. I'm gonna go hang out with Alan Atkinson, Tim Blake, and try to figure out what the next 24 months looks like.
Nice, dude.
Taking the Emerald Cup out of California and plopping it in New York and other places. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your involvement with Emerald Cup?
I've been a VIP for a number of years. I'm built by the Emerald Cup, no doubt about it. Like I respect those who paved the way and gave pathways forward for brands like me, Field, Skittles. All of us came from the Emerald Cup, right? We really were coined by that. So huge dedication I owe to Tim Blake for that kind of stuff.
Nice, dude.
Never forget your roots, man.
Never, bro. I remember my first year living here. It was 2017, and I got to see all the big dogs for the first time. Like I seen the Skittles booth was cracking.
I was 16. We had
17. 2017.
And then I was a $100,000 sponsor in 17 actually on that one. And Skittles booth was right around the corner from me, but we had Rosin Tech, Soil King, solventless center, and we had all of my cultivator brands. That was when we were squishing flour, and so we had Nicotine doing ice water hash in there, and then we had all of our flour brands selling grams and half grams, and then we had Rosin Tech presses and dab bars all set up, banging that motherfucker out. It was insane. And we ran with that. Rosin Sam and I ran with that for all over the country, high times and everything.
Nice, dude. Nice, dude. That tent was jumping, bro. That was a lot to take in my first third month here, bro. I was like, holy shit.
Fucking $100,000 sponsor. Them days are gone.
Yeah, right? Jeez. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. But it's still fun. It's just not the same.
It's just not, no, it's fun. It's pioneering. Everything is evolving. It just has to. Corporate has to come in because nobody has money. Before I could drop $100,000, we could keep it to the homies. The whole event was like us, and when we, weren't making the money, somebody had to come in. Cookies started dropping in and dropping the cash down.
Yep.
And in order for events to stay alive, they have to swim in that pool. And they get a lot of hate for it, but there's no events. There's no marketing. There's no Soil King. There's no Skittles without the Tim Blakes of the world that are pumping us out there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. How long has Emerald Cup been going on?
20 years was this year was the anniversary, 20-year anniversary.
Oh, shit, man. Nice, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah. How long you been rocking, bro?
I mean, I was growing weed.
You got a little gray in your beard, man. You've been
I'm
around
56
a
now.
Hell yeah.
I was arrested for growing weed at 11 for the first time.
No shit.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time to take it back, man. We got Pat, the Soil King, in the house, man. Thanks for coming through, brother.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man. Respect to you and your show for sure.
Man. Thank you,
Love where you're headed and what you're doing.
Bro. Likewise, bro. Likewise. I'm looking forward to hearing your story, man. I didn't do too much homework on you because this is one of the ones I wanted to get all the info on the show. Well, I had you to myself for an hour or two. So let's take it back, man. That's very interesting. At 11?
Yeah. So
where'd you grow up? Let's start where you grew up.
I grew up in Fremont, California.
Okay.
And I was back when, I lived right next to Ohlone College. Had a hard upbringing in that area. Shit, man, let's just throw it all out there. I was, my mother was great. I love her. I built her house. I took her out of this world. She died from cancer. She wasn't really, I would say, fit to be a mom back then. She loved me. So I don't hold no grudges or nothing like that. but it was hard. She didn't really want to be a parent, I think.
Okay.
And it was difficult being a single parent and, you know, trying to live. But we belonged to a Science of the Mind church. She did when she joined when we were little. And, you know, the church pretty much took her paycheck and gave her an allowance to live on and told her that your kids will be productive members of society if they don't have any discipline and they raise themselves. That's how this thing works. So, you know, I was kind of cut out and left on my own to do my own shit as a kid.
Is that Scientology?
Yeah, Scientology.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, Scientology. And it was crazy. I remember at 6, 7 years old being babysat by the pastor's daughters and them taking me down to a basement and putting tarantulas all over my body, trying to teach me how to not instill fear in me. I was a fucking kid.
Damn, bro.
So, yeah, that kind of stuff, you know. And
dude, how old were you when this happened?
It's like 6 and 7
Dog,
back in then.
that's crazy.
7 years old, I think, is when that happened. You know, but, you know, my first memories are hands in the soil.
Okay.
And 3 years old, and it's the most consistent thing in my life today is peanut butter and hands in the soil and botanicals and cultivating. Like,
Peanut butter?
That's that, man. I eat peanut butter by the spoon. It's comfort food.
Okay.
When I'd grown up as a kid without having any food, man, peanut butter and water filled your stomach, kept you going, man. So,
yeah, no doubt.
you know, still today.
For sure.
Still my thing, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah, so, you know, I was like probably 9, 10 years old, and I always hung out with the older crew because I was accepted by the stoner crowd.
Okay.
And you know, I had some mentors in my life. Kevin Lynch was one of them. My brother Jeff, older brother, you know, and they were running down the wrong path, you know, and of course I was like eager to follow. But what I realized as I was hanging around people back then is these guys were buying lids of fucking Columbia Gold and weed, and they were taking an album cover, Led Zeppelin, you know, whoever, Pink Floyd, and they were breaking all this seeded weed up, and they were taking a zigzag, you know, card, and they're raking the seeds out, and they drop on the ground. And I'm thinking, these motherfuckers are all paying for this, and there's the gold hitting the ground, and that's where and I was already growing. I had my own veggie gardens. I was doing everything as a kid. It was like my thing, and I'm like, yeah, I can grow this shit, man. I'm gonna make a living at this stuff. And I was popping seeds, trying to learn. You know, back then it wasn't such a big deal when you produce seeded weed, but when you males, I couldn't figure that out. I'm trying to learn all this shit as a kid, right? And so
no guidance.
Yeah, no guidance, and I grew on some platforms up on a pine tree. That's where I started at about 10 years old, 11 years old, 9 years old, and 10 years old, 11 years old. The neighbor saw me up there. I remember the thought process. I'm like, shit, if I put this out in the field or I do something, someone's going to find it. But I'm a kid, and we did forts back then. You know, there wasn't no staying in the house. It was I was like, people just think it's a fort up here. And I was growing weed, and I was watering one day, and I saw a neighbor walking, and I could see the water dripping from underneath. And they kept looking, and the plants were getting pretty big. And next thing you know, the cops showed up and handcuffed me. That was the first time.
Damn.
First time I went to jail was for cultivating cannabis.
Fuck. The tender age of 11.
You know,
Second year was 11-year-old kid though. Like, what was the conversation like? Like, what the fuck you doing, kid?
Exactly. pretty much. That's exactly what it is. I took off running. You know, I had a plant in one hand. They caught me at the school down the street. It was a big ordeal. And then at 12 years old, you know, this is where you learn outlaw shit as a kid, right? Street smarts. Is I got busted in the same tree doing the same thing a year later. And so I realized, man, I got to diversify and figure this out. So I went up Wybell Winery and Mill Creek Road up past Salone College, and fucking planting weed.
No shit, dude.
So
that didn't stop you?
Nothing stopped me.
That certainly didn't stop you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of like, and you know, I'm a botanical guy too. Like I grew everything. I still grow everything, man. I'm fascinated with fucking sunflowers. You know, it's like just some cool shit. I grow sunflowers next to my cannabis plants so I can use it as a stake to tie the shit up. You know, I mean,
yeah, right. Oh, like smart. Those are thick ass stalks.
Yeah, and those stalks suck up a lot of mineral and fertilizers and organics, and then you leave them in there, and all the roots break down to the next year and give immediate, you know, source of availability for the plants. I mean, there's a lot of companion planting.
Planting,
smart,
for sure,
definitely.
That's cool, man. So you just started. You would had a green thumb just on your own?
I mean, I know now, I didn't know then that I'm a
somebody put
5th
you on?
generation Johnny Appleseed. So John Chapman's in my blood. I'm the direct descendant of Johnny Appleseed and
In real life?
in real life. And that's where,
Shit.
I mean, that's just cut from that cloth, man,
Yeah.
of what I love to do. Take my shoes off, my socks off, and plant my feet in the forest and, suck up some energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in that for so long, unfortunately, and I do now. And it's grounding is so good for you, bro.
Serenity, bro. It's like, you want to get rid of drama in your life? Go visit Mother Nature.
Yeah,
Straight up.
yeah, for sure. I'm due for a trip up to, fortunately, I live right by Grass Valley,
Beautiful.
Nevada
Yeah.
City. I can just take a quick trip up there and get lost in the woods.
Yeah, so next, when I was like 13 years old, I came home and I looked in, the door was locked, which we never locked. I looked in the front window, all the furniture was gone. I went and looked in the room I was staying in, the window was all gone, and my mom decided to move, and she moved, and she left me.
Damn, bro.
And and so because of, I would say the lack of parenting and probably that church, right? I was already coined on how to take care of myself. I was gone for 3 or 4 days at a time, and I was 9 or 10 years old, and I never got scolded or told what to do or
Wow.
where have you been or nothing like that. And so I think I was kind of built by that. And so, I went and lived in I had friends, I had a brother that's not a peer brother, you got brothers in life.
No
so
doubt.
I'd go in and check in with Ma. But I lived in the mountains, and I remember after this happened, I remember washing my hair in a creek trying to get to fucking school on time, and I had no clock or nothing, and it was like that just wasn't it for me. But I was already growing weed and selling doobies at the high school,
Okay.
and so I had my thing going, and I bypassed high school and I went straight to work, and I sold weed on the side and bought my first house at 19, started my first plumbing company at 18. So, I mean, I was strides ahead of a lot of people, just because of my upbringing. So I embrace, this 12-year-old boy within and everything that happened and, all that, because, I can sit here and complain about my life, or I can look at really what it gave me. And it gave me a fucking kickstart into the future at a young age. I had street hustle and then common sense and logic, on the other side.
And I think about today how I raised my kids. I was a latchkey kid myself. I couldn't leave for days on end, but nobody knew where the fuck I was. That's for sure. And I look how I raised my kids now. I'm like, Jesus, I think I crippled them, man. I think I hindered them a little bit from being like. I know my generation was wild as fuck, bro. So I think we were just like.
How old are you right now?
I'm 41.
Yeah.
So it's like. We kind of sheltered our kids a little bit, and yeah, man. I'm watching my daughter. She's 22. I would watch her in the real world, and she's fucking bumping her fucking head, dog. I mean, it's getting better, but it was slow.
I mean, it's a hard world
dude.
for kids to live in now.
It is,
it's
right?
like, man, it's different, man. It's fucking difficult. Man, I remember getting my first cars at 14. I remember frying on acid and getting in a car chase with the cops, and I pulled over and I went running around. It's called the Old School in Fremont. I went running around the building, came around and ran straight into the cop that was chasing me. I came around the corner, bounced off him. He picked me up, dragged me over to my car, asked me where my keys are, and he took my keys, threw them inside, and locked it. And said, you can figure this shit out tomorrow, let me go. And I remember I was so mad.
Wow.
And I'm thinking nowadays that shit happens to a kid. They're getting locked up. They're getting cases. They're going on social media. You know what I mean? It's just not the same fucking world, man, for our kids out there today. It's just not,
What's up, guys? I just want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors over at United Nutrients. Trusted by elite growers, United Nutrients delivers clean, reliable nutrition, trusted by top cannabis cultivators for enhancing plant health and maximizing yields, all while being easy to use. Affordable without compromising quality. United Nutrients offers premium nutrient solutions that remain affordable, ensuring growers get the best results without breaking the bank. Sustainability, cultivator-centered innovation. Developed through collaboration with cultivators, United Nutrients science-backed formulations are designed specifically for cannabis, providing eco-friendly and efficient nutrient absorption to promote healthy and vigorous plants. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. You got kids?
Yeah, I got a bunch of kids.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got 7
How's that? Whoa.
total right now,
Oh, boy.
and I've raised a few others as well. So lost one, Spencer. I lost him.
I'm sorry, man.
Fentanyl overdose.
Fuck, man.
You know, a year and a half ago. That was difficult, but you know, memories, right? He's still with me. So he's here right now.
That's right.
And I travel all over the country. You'll see me on some of my posts. I called him the Squirrel Whisperer, and he had this. When I moved into I brought him home with me. He was like 14, and he moved into 15 or something like that. So it might have been 16, right in that period. And he went into. I had a granny unit, and next thing you know, there's this young squirrel, and it comes walking out of the tree, walked right up to him, jumped on his shoulder, man. And he had this pet squirrel. It was wild forever as he raised it, and he'd feed it these seeds, sunflower seeds, and all these different seeds, and it would go in his room and hang out with him. Then it would take off at night.
Oh, no way.
And so I take seeds and his ashes with me on tour everywhere I go. You see me go all over the country.
That's cool, man.
And I plant him everywhere I go. You know what I mean? Man. In memory. And he's all over the country right now.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
RIP to him, man. Sorry to hear that, dude. As a dad, that fucks me up, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good shit.
And I just, with kids, like, I wasn't going to be. My dad used to say, well, that's the way I was raised. I didn't know any better. And you know what? I used to say, it's the most bullshit line I could ever hear.
Yeah, man. You couldn't do
because
better,
I didn't have it. And I am a badass motherfucking father. Am I perfect? No, I make mistakes. I love my kids. I'm there for my kids. I do everything. I did everything my parents didn't do for me for my kids. And, probably too much at times, try to stay in relationships, try to do all that, stay together, so parenting it isn't easy, but it's so fucking rewarding, Like it really is, man.
Absolutely.
It's hard work.
You got grandkids yet?
Yeah, I got one that's due here in the next couple weeks.
That's cool.
TJ,
man.
Which is my first grandson, and I got a daughter, Gemma.
First grandson?
Yeah.
On deck?
Yeah.
Nice,
first
bro.
grandson on deck.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, little TJ.
My buddy told me, he said, what, grandkids are God's gift to you for not killing your own kids. You know what I'm saying? I felt that.
Yeah. I mean, I got some good kids, man. My son's Soil King Jr., Patrick William King Jr.
Nice,
he's
dude.
He's 6'7", and he's looks just like me, but he's huge. He's a badass, but he was, I had him with big wheel loaders at 14 years old, loading transfer trucks, running equipment and teaching
14?
At 14 years old. And by the time he was 16, 17, he was teaching grown men how to grow cannabis organically. Had his own patch then, started when he was young, but I took care of all of it. When we harvested, it came to me, I hand you the cash. That's kind of the deal we made together. I don't want you out there yet trying to do your own hustle, but
that's cool.
This is side hustle.
I'll sell it. Wow, that's a hell of a deal, Pops.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro. Yeah. I love that.
Some people don't like that. But you know what?
I mean, if it's a kid, whatever, dude.
He works now and he understands side hustle.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't. The problem with kids and grown adults is we use cannabis as our main income and our full hustle. And really, you can't really do that. You need a steady income, and whatever hustle you're doing on the side, you keep that as your hustle.
Yeah.
Life's rules. Unless you can make a hustle completely out of it, which I did when I was older, but.
Yeah, and you certainly did, bro. You're running and you own a few companies, man. I took a look at your resume, man. You're stacked up pretty nice, brother. Yeah. You've been busy.
It's a sickness, man.
Are you
those out there that know, man, it's a serial
entrepreneur?
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, no doubt
about it.
Same.
Yep. I'm the straight negotiator. Put me at the table.
Yep. That's what's up, man. So you had your first kid at 14.
No, I had my first.
I heard that wrong.
First. I was told I couldn't have kids, and then my first daughter came when she's 21 right now. And then I had my first 2 kids I raised were my stepkids, but they're my kids. They're not, the blood don't matter like that to me.
Of course,
and,
of course.
And then my younger 2 came, and then with Amy and I, we have 3 other kids, 3 other girls now. So they all range from the mid 30s, all the way down to 11 years old right now.
Wow, nice.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah, I just wouldn't, man. Because you're a parent, man. You get to go home to that.
Yeah.
I mean, really, man. Did we really have that much fun going home with hangovers and all fucked up? Or I could choose going home to my kids and hearing about their day. Like, man, that's winning right there.
Yeah. No, it is.
That's winning.
It sure is, man. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Baseball games. I coached Little League and softball for 13 years.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that a little bit with my first son. The T-ball and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good times.
It is, man. And the kids need that.
Yeah.
I needed that as a kid. I didn't have it.
Yeah, man, for sure. Pops wasn't around either?
He wasn't really around. He would come see me once in a while and take me, we had a ranch up in Santa Cruz Mountains. We'd go around there, and he really wasn't until I got out of prison. When I got out of San Quentin, and I was ready to reset. And I called him up, and my stepmom didn't want nothing to do with me. He hid me in his house, and I was able to kind of rebuild my life and rebuilt our relationship. And he died from cancer a few years ago. I carried him out of this world as my best friend. My mom, I built her 2 homes. I carried her out of this room, cancer, out of this world, But I was able to, mend those fences and become super solid with my parents, because as a parent, man, and people listening, you're out there. Life is difficult. Tragic situations happen. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, And when in recovery, I'm green and sober, man. That shit played a huge role in my life, man.
Yeah.
Played a huge role in my life, my whole life. And that's being able to look at my own actions and forgive others of theirs.
For sure. Did you fall off for a little while?
Oh yeah, I've had 10 years, I've had 6 years, I've had multiple 4 years.
What, being locked up or on drugs?
No, in recovery.
In recovery. Gotcha,
I walked into my first meeting at 13 years old, an AA meeting. Again, Kevin Lynch was an older guy I looked up to as a kid, got me into a lot of hard drugs and different drugs. And then as I got older, he ended up in recovery. And so I walked into an AA meeting when I was 13. I was wet. I was fucking cold. Nobody loved me. I needed a hug. I needed belonging. And I walked into a meeting, and I was already way past. I shot dope when I was 12.
Damn,
so
bro.
I was already an addict. And I walked into the first meeting, man, and I got, welcomed in. There was coffee. I remember coffee and a cookie and a seat. And there was probably, 30, 40 people in the room, and nobody looked at me weird. Nobody judged me. And I listened, and I felt like I was belonging to people who, cared about me. And that's where my,
Nice.
my step into recovery started. And I'm 56 years old today, and I'm still preaching it,
Man, I can kind of relate to that. I wasn't shooting dope that young, but like, I remember when I was the youngest homie on my block or whatever, and raised by a single mom, so nobody was really watching me. And I remember like the first time I ever did coke, bro. Like one of the older homies, I'm not even gonna say his name because I ain't gonna shit on you, but you fucked up for that. It took me, yo, come here, bro. JP, come here, bro. Yo, you want a line? I'm like, I didn't fucking. I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's
did a
how it
line.
went.
12 years old, bro. Like that's fucking crazy, dog. Like I seen so many people fall off, and like I didn't really do it like that. But yeah, I fucked around for some years, like a little while, a little weekend warrior action. Just and you know how that shit is, bro. You can fall off quick off that shit.
Man.
It get a hold of you, bro. Like
Monkey on your fucking back is real.
Yeah. I had some friends in high school fall off with the dope, and like just witnessing that scared me straight out of that. So I never fuck, because I seen how hard that shit was to get off of it. And I was like, nah, bro. No, sir, I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, again, I'm gifted, built by my story, was gifted at a young age, the toolbox of recovery that saved my life dozens of times.
Yeah.
I've always been able to dip back in that toolbox of recovery and pull something good out to change my life when needed.
Good. Hell yeah. So let's go back to, you're done with high school. You start a plumbing business.
Yeah. I started
Where'd that come from, bro?
Pump tech, sewage and well pumps.
Okay.
I moved to the state of Washington when I was between there as an adolescent. I got arrested and thrown in juvenile hall in San Jose, California. Went to the boys' ranch and escaped from there.
Oh shit!
and was working. I was working at a we were building apartments, and I was a labor foreman on a job site.
Okay.
And fucking all the cops came and raided it, and they were after me. So I'd called my dad, and I said I need some cash. He drove and gave me a plane ticket to Washington, and I jumped on a plane and took off to Washington, where I ended up turning myself in, and they kicked me out of the state of California as a minor. Wasn't supposed to come back until I was an adult. Got 500 community service hours, and had to do a year in counseling up there, which I did. I did all that, and I don't know where we're going with that. Oh yeah, so
the plumbing.
I was working, man. I went straight to work, and I started plumbing for a plumbing company, and I started hustling as a kid, and I was making money. I was doing great, and then as soon as I was of age, I'm like, man, I'm fucking tired of putting money in other people. I'm working my ass off.
Yep.
I'm killing it. I can do this. Same thing as growing weed when I was younger, right? See those seeds hit the ground. I'm like, I can do this. So yeah, I did that. Got married. Got an old lady. We bought a house together, 5 acres in Washington next to a river. And yeah, that's where it happened.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So when does this all evolve back to California and you know, cultivating cannabis? Like where were you set up? Like when you came back to California and you like started making your bones out here again?
Yeah, so I was trying to grow weed in Washington, man. It was just too wet.
Yeah.
It was like I kept mold issues and things were happening. I came back to California and started really slinging in heavy drugs and weed, which set me up for getting a lot of different arrests and things like that. And then it put me in San Quentin, which I did a stint of time in San Quentin and did a bunch of county jail as well. And when I went to Quentin, right before I went to Quentin for manufacturing methamphetamines. I went for sales of all drugs, cannabis, cocaine, and I mean, I had me for. So I had stolen property on me. They got me for stolen property as well. I negotiated down to a second-degree felony for stolen property, and yeah, did time doing that. And then I was like, I didn't want to come out and live this life. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was just tired of where it was headed. Yeah, I had a lot of money, had a lot of hustle, but you know, it's just the people I surrounded myself with, just constant fucking problems. And so I'm like, I got to do something different. And I was using that's where I was using my own drugs at that time. And I was already an addict. So I was like, San Quentin, I went into H&I. If you ever heard of H&I, it's called Hospitals and Institutions. And so in recovery meetings, they pass a basket around. You put $1 or whatever you want in it to help to keep the meeting alive. And then there's another little bucket that comes around. It's called Hospitals and Institutions. And hospitals and institutions, they bring recovery to prisons, to hospitals, to psych wards, to different places for when people can't get to a meeting. So in San Quentin, I did recovery in San Quentin, man. It was great, to be honest with you. My sponsor was a lifer. He was native, and drunk driving got him, ruined him. Many drunk drive-ins, and they slapped him. He wasn't going to get out.
Well, he killed somebody? Drunk driving?
I don't think he killed somebody. He was he had like 7 DUIs and an accident with injuries, I think is what it was. Yep. And but was solid dude, super solid. Taught me a lot, and he was put in my path for a reason, and he was just solid. So I got into hospitals and institution doing meetings in there, and I was looking around at the revolving door, and I'm seeing all my homies go in, and next they're coming in sucked up, tore back. And they're heading back, and then they get all thick, and in 6 months they're out, and then they come back on a violation within three months, and they're just sucked up again. I'm like, that revolving door of 90% just isn't something I'm going to step into, and so I immediately stepped out of it. When I got out, I got myself in a meeting, got myself a sponsor, which is a whole nother story. I got stories, man, but
you let them rip, dude.
Yeah, there was a guy named Galen who brought H&I San Quentin, and Galen was an older gentleman, and I got a good relationship with him. And I remember that I didn't want to leave San Quentin when I was getting paroled, out of fear that I'd be, out the gate by 8, in the spoon by noon, back to the pen by 10, that revolving door that you've seen. And Galen says, man, you gotta roll with this, man. You got to get yourself out there, get yourself to a meeting, raise your hand as a newcomer and ask for a temporary sponsor. And that shit rang in my head. And so I got paroled, and then I had another case I had to go fight, and I went to Santa Rita and fought that for almost a year. And then I got to a halfway house. I went to a meeting, and I remember them words, man. If you don't want to fucking, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. You want to change your ability and your approach in your life, listen to motherfuckers when they give you gold. And so I went to a meeting. I raised my hand. It was a huge meeting, and asked for a temporary sponsor. And I was in Cocoa County, of all places. And
where's that?
That's out by Lodi, I think. It wasn't Sac County. It was outside of Cocoa County. I forget the exact town that the meeting was in. I was in a halfway house out there. And across the room, I hear this deep laugh. And it's fucking Galen. Out of any meeting in the world I could have went to, any guy bringing in hospitals and institutions, H&I into San Quentin, out of anywhere you could live in the world, or any meeting at that time, I end up in the same. That's God shit right there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that shit was meant to be, and that's where my recovery got really started getting solid again.
Nice, dude. What's up, guys? Just want to take a quick second to shout out my sponsors over at Kaya Core. Clean cocoa trusted by top cultivators. Kaya Core premium grade clean cocoa core is trusted by and respected by cannabis cultivators for optimal plant health and performance. It's all about the terps and quality first before yields, which is driven through clean 100% core, which provides smooth stratification throughout the media. Sustainable and eco-friendly. Sourced from eco-friendly coconut fiber produced in our 100% sustainable operation in India. Kaya provides an environmentally conscious solution without compromising cultivation quality. Kaya washes the cocoa multiple times to ensure a clean starting base with less salinity from other cocoa manufacturers. The plastic pot is 100% biodegradable for a sustainable solution. Tailored for cannabis growth, Kaya Core products are developed from direct feedback and collaboration with top cultivators, offering superior water retention, root aeration, and nutrient absorption for healthier, more vigorous plants. They buffer the cocoa to less than 0.3 EC with calcium nitrate to provide the cultivator with a strong starting point for transplant. You will be shocked how clear the runoff is from this clean cocoa. Kaya uses coarse ground cocoa core to achieve the 70-30 blend versus perlite or chunks. Go hit up Kaya Core. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. Circa, what years was this?
97, something like that.
Okay, 97.
Yeah.
Interesting, the year I jumped into the game. Yeah, like full time, yeah, 97.
Then I got out, and everybody told me in recovery that cannabis was a fucking problem, and that I couldn't count my clean time, and I had to cut cannabis and everything out of my life. And I fought that, and I went into recovery, met my ex-wife, had some babies, started building. I was a builder developer. Built a 300 home project down in Watsonville and Santa Cruz County, and then moved up north and started building houses and subdivisions up there. And what I realized is that cannabis was the thing I was missing out of my recovery this whole time. It really was, man. As everybody's going on psych meds and they're popping pain pills and pharmaceuticals back in those days like it was candy. You can get a prescription from any doctor, and they're, you ask for 20 and they push fucking 60 on you back then. And it was hard for me because cannabis for me is, I fight for the plant. I fight for this industry on a medicinal level. And for me, that's why I fight so hard with organics and conscious cultivation, is because it's medicine for me. It's completely medicine. Like, my head's fucked up, but at the end of the day, I can come home as an entrepreneur, building businesses, making money, and I could shut this thing off by smoking a fucking doobie in the backyard. You know, it shuts it off. Next thing you know, I'm looking around, petting the dog. I'm listening to Amy, the kids. I'm like, when are we going to do, you know, family time? We're sitting at the table. Yeah. But if I don't, I can't sleep, man. I'm fucked up. Yeah. So it is, it's medicinally, and that's why I fight for green and sober so hard, you know.
I know I've never heard that before. Green and sober, I like that.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's coming hard right now.
Because it's like, you know, in some spaces, like, you know, AA, whatever, they're not going to, or NA, they wouldn't consider that clean, right?
They're starting to now.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, cool. It's definitely a movement. It's a fight back and forth. For sure. You know, being pioneer in that space is you know, I take it with honors. And I'm not saying cannabis is for every addict out there. That's just not the case, you know. And I don't go into meetings. I go to AA meetings. I go to NA meetings all the time. I don't talk about cannabis, right? That's the last thing I would want to do, is give the impression to a newcomer that's coming in the rooms, you know, just trying to learn this shit. And next thing you know is, oh man, Soil King smokes cannabis. He says it's fucking good for, you know, addiction and recovery. And next thing you know, dude's dead because of my words. You know, that's reality I have to play a part in. But same thing with taking pharmaceuticals and psych meds in recovery, you know. Recovery fucking is fucked up when you go into these halfway houses or recovery centers, you know, and the first thing they do is put you on a pharmaceutical regimen. You know, they just get you fucking hooked on that stuff. Cannabis will help with detox. Psychedelics helps with it. I mean, there's so much in microdosing that we're just coming online. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. So we have to be open-minded. We also have to be careful.
Yeah, like my little bro, he was in recovery. He got all fucked up on meth, like right after I moved out here, and you know, he recovered, man. He's still, you know, mad years clean. Shout out to bro, and
shout out, man.
And you know, I don't know that he could smoke weed, bro. I know he wants to. I know he's kind of cool around it. I kind of just like, if we're both at mom's, I'll just tuck off in like the other part of the spot, like, you know, don't really blow around him. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's an individual choice, and it is an approach. You know, if you're if you look at anything, I'm drinking coffee right now, right? That's a psychoactive effect, right? I could take CBD, I could take Advil, and taking away a headache is a psychoactive effect.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything, Monster energy drinks, you can go to cigarettes, go down the line. Everything you have to be super careful for. It is absolutely, you have to, man. So you have to look at everything like that. For me, pharmaceuticals wasn't the answer. Psych meds was not the answer for me. It would destroy me. I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now if I was like that. And it goes back to, I had a sponsor at one time, and it was like maybe 12, 14 years ago, Cloverdale, California. And I was Soil King, right? And Soil King was hitting when I was growing fucking, you know, plants, like mountains of plants. And he caught wind, and he said, you know, you lose your clean time. You can't come in here and say that. Like, you aren't part of this, right? And at the exact same time, him telling me that if I have to choose between Soil King or recovery, he cracked a bottle of pharmaceuticals because he had a hurt knee. He pours pills out in his hand. He pops them in his mouth at the exact same, after he said it to me.
Same breath.
And I'm like, motherfucker, you can never say that to me. You're not my sponsor. I fired you. But that hurt me.
Oh, no shit, dude.
Yeah, I let it go. At that point, that hurt me, and I didn't go to meetings for, you know, years after that. And I had to pick one side or the other, and I own the seat. Anybody owns a seat in recovery when they say they own a seat. Nobody can tell you can have a seat or not have a seat. And so there was a lot of, they call it Cali sober. I don't really like that because it's not Cali. It's all across the world right now, the green and sober movement.
Cali sober.
That's what they call it. That's another one, man. Cali sober. I hate that. It's not Cali, man. I got people all over the country. Like, I do these events all over. We open up these events with green and sober meetings. Like, seriously,
that's cool, man. That's cool.
And so, there's recovery saved my life, man. What can I say, man?
I got some homies on the East Coast that used to be ex-fiends, ex-dope fiends, and like, bro, weed's great for them, bro. So maybe not my brother, but like some of my homies, bro, like they're fucking great. Yeah. They're clean. They have no interest in doing that no more. And like, you know, I'm sure you've heard of what's been going on in the Northeast for the last 10 years, bro. The heroin epidemic and the opiate epidemic has been ripping through there since before I can remember, man. Like, so yeah, dude, I dig that. I definitely
I'm
do.
heading here to go to my sponsor's house to spend the night over there and do step work, right? I'm doing step work tonight. He lives in Stockton. We're going to spend 4 hours of me just grinding out and learning myself. You know, I love that shit.
That's cool.
Yep.
I'm glad you're still on the path of seeking knowledge.
Yeah, man. Well, you know.
You know?
I mean, you can get complacent really easy and shit happens in your life. You can stay on top of shit and life just gets better.
If you ain't growing, you're dying, baby.
That's it, man.
You know?
That's it.
You know plants, if plants ain't growing, what are they doing?
Same thing as us, man.
You know,
you throw a seed in there, man. You cover it with soil. The whole world's like, oh my God, I'll never get dirt's all over me. I'm never. And then all of a sudden, man, a beautiful fucking plant starts coming out of that soil. And that soil is what conditioned you to what you're going to become if you just allow the space to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Good analogy.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
Man.
Hell yeah. So let's dive into like, first before we dive into the companies that you started and you're involved with, like, let me know, like, because I know you're a little older. You're like the generation 1 or 2 before me. Who'd you come up with, bro? Like, I know you know a lot of the giants in the space, you know, in the OG realm of the cannabis industry. Like, tell me about who you came up with, bro.
Yeah, so I think, I came up with a lot of people from the Bay Area when I was younger, and then I moved up to Northern California, Cloverdale, in 2022.
Okay.
And like, you know, I don't know if you heard of Eddie Lepp. Eddie Lepp
hell yeah, bro.
So Eddie Lepp's my papa.
Eddie Lepp,
right?
OG, baby.
Yeah, that's my. So when I was a super fan of him my whole life, him and Jack, and when he got out of prison, I picked him up with Alan Atkinson in San Francisco Airport, and that's where Eddie and my relationship took a whole different path of you know, that's where we came together as a unit and strong and solid, and he became he became my mentor, you know, on a lot of levels. He used to, you know, mentor me on relationships and shit. And I'd say, man, you have the best advice ever, except for you can't listen to your own advice ever. Right. Because he had the worst relationships. But, so I'd say after he got out of prison is really him and I were just, you know, and he's no longer with us now. And I vouched to keep his name solid and protect his image. And me and Brett from, Cali Seed Bank. That was him and I. There were both adoption papers drawn up before he passed with him and I for him to adopt us. And
no way, dude.
Yeah, and
it's your pops for real.
I mean, yeah, I miss him, man. He had when he got out of prison, he had a hard time. And it was sad. It's sad watching all that go. But yeah, I mean,
Tell me a little about that, about him, and like I don't hear.
When
he got out,
his name was big when he was incarcerated. He was in federal prison for 8 years. You know, he got multiple life sentences and got out 8.5 years later.
For growing weed, right?
Yeah, he got arrested with 72,000 plants in Lake County, and they stopped counting after. I don't know, 50-something thousand plants, right? But
my God,
you know, Brandon Parker, he was with him. There's a bunch of people that were with him before. Brandon used to be out there and watch the patch, right? He'd live in a tent out there. Like Brandon's solid, man. He's solid.
He was talking about that on the show. I was like, oh, goddamn, dude.
Yeah, and so I wasn't there before. I was there when he got out. Him and I were, you know. You couldn't separate us. It was a tight team, and I miss him. I miss him dearly. You know, I miss his advice. My father passed away. He passed away, and a few other Frenchie passed away, and these were people that, you know, would keep me in line a lot as well too. I miss them all. You know, miss them. So yeah, that was one of them. You know, Kyle Cushman. You know, all these guys that we rocked together.
Kyle's still making noise, bro.
Yeah, Kyle's still making noise.
Hell yeah. I gotta fucking meet this guy, bro.
Him and I, we were planning with Nate. We were going to do a road trip. I had my Corvette convertible. He has his little convertible, and we were going to do Route 66.
Tight,
Kyle and I, and film the whole thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
We were doing that last year. Probably do it. We're definitely planning on doing it. You know, it's been hard. Life's been difficult coming out of this fucking shoebox of an industry we're all trapped in the middle of, you know.
Bro, are we ever? Oh man.
Yeah, so there's I can name a lot of them. Tim Blake, Kevin Jodry, you know, a lot of us We just made a difference. Pioneering cannabis, pioneering cannabis, like just doing activism, showing up, doing right things, sometimes the wrong things, thinking it was the right thing, all that. So yeah, there's a lot of OGs out there.
Well, on behalf of us youngsters, bro, thank you, man. Thank you for paving the way for guys like us, bro, to do our thing, man, because that shit means a lot, bro.
Yeah, respect. Thank you for that.
Yeah, much love, bro.
I grabbed a lot of belt loops myself in this industry. That have taught me a lot, and I just named a whole slew of them.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's dope, bro. What's up, guys? It's your boy JP Good Pizza. Just taking a quick second to shout out my sponsors over at Grove Bags. Listen, it's an exclusive proprietary bag, and here's why we love them. Let's talk terpene preservation. This is the best environment for storing your cannabis. It keeps your cannabis at 58 to 62% humidity at all times. It's like your cannabis is living in San Diego year-round with the best weather. Terpene and flavor longevity. That's important. It inhibits microbial growth. No mold, Kujin. Let's talk light protection. UV rays and good pizza don't mix. It also increases shelf life. Guys, if you have your flower in a dispensary, please use Grove Bags. We all know that stuff sits sometimes. This is gonna be your saving grace for flower that sits on that shelf longer than it should. Don't mess around with the pizza. Use promo code GOODPIZZA with 3 Z's. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. We'll see y'all back on the show. So when does it evolve to like, okay, you got your own companies now? 'Cause we got a couple companies to talk about. Which one came first? Was it CanRemediate, Rosin Tech?
Soil King, really.
Soil King.
Yeah, Soil King.
Gotcha.
Soil King blew up in Northern California. I was fucking growing fields of fucking cannabis in Northern California, Lake County, Mendocino County, Sonoma County, and after the 08, especially after the 08 downturn of the housing market, I was builder developer. I didn't really like what I was doing, and I was already coined Soil King, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going back to my roots. And I took off just running, man, making fucking soil, doing all kinds, growing fields, redwood trees with pineapples.
That's
just
right.
Crushing it out there. And so Soil King, my family was mad, there's all kinds of that. My family didn't want me living most of the year in the mountains. At harvest time, I'm gone for, 45 days, gone all week, and coming home on the weekends and doing my thing. But, nobody complained about shoe boxes of Benjamins. It was like, fuck, man.
It was a couple of those.
It was, yeah. Buffalo, you look at Buffalo, New York, and Niagara Falls, and I was in parts of Ohio, out by the college town, and what's the name of it out there? Anyways, I was
getting busy out there.
Fuck, man, I was dropping 300 pounds every other week.
Ooh,
so if you were smoking my genetics, back then, you
right. Well, let's play
in those areas.
Let's play a little game of what year, what strain, and I'll let you know if they cross my path. Because on Jersey, we got whatever we could get. You know what I'm saying? Whatever came out that I was in Jersey. Yeah, from Jersey. Yeah,
we're lighting up licenses in Jersey right now.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What strain? My strains are M80, M1000, Mama's Cheese, Mama's Boy. There's a bunch of them that were out there, but mostly it was crosses like Mama's Cheese, such a banger. It's UK cheese times New York diesel, right?
Oh shit.
And it's just So if you were out there, you guys all remember smoking that back in the day.
Damn, bro. So I don't remember by the name, but I've definitely had some New York diesel, and then there was a ton of shit that came across with no name on it by the time it got to us.
Yeah, totally. Or new names.
New names, the rename game's nothing new.
There's nothing
what I'm saying?
new.
It just wasn't lemon cherry, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
At least it was new shit they were remixing, bro. Fuck.
Well, I mean, gas kind of died there for a while, right? And so cheese died there for a while.
Cheese
it's
died.
all on a comeback right now too, because you
bro.
smoke cheese out there now. It's not cheese, right? So that original cheese is fucking sweet.
Dog, offensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
it gives you that cheese diesel
bro.
mix. Gives you that right here, man.
Dude.
Right?
Yep. Last time I had that was like the early 2010s, bro. Probably like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Got it from a kid, random ass kid in Phoenix, bro, who got his shit from LA, whatever. And I was like, holy fuck, this is cheese? This is cheese. Holy shit. This is fucking smells like cheese. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It was such a dope
cheese
experience.
good
Never
cheese.
seen it since.
Yeah, it's all on a comeback now.
Yeah.
Which is good. So yeah, that was don't know where we're going with all that.
We were going with Soil King, how Soil King
yeah.
started.
So Soil
etc.
King got, I'm like, my family was like, you got to get out of the mountains. There was gunfights, and I'll just go into a little bit of dip into that.
Oh, come on now. Don't leave that out.
I diversified. So I had 7 patches of 99 going, and I diversified. I figured as long as I got 3 or 4 patches, thieves and the cops got a couple patches, I would make it through the season all right. So I diversified in different areas. And one year, patch came in, hoops. This is when nobody was doing depths, and we were killing it selling at its ends. I had 32 wide by 120-foot greenhouses. We were pulling tarps, 18-foot high ceilings, and we had to fucking literally pull tarps. Like, it was crazy, but we did it, and we were getting hit one time. There was 4 guys that came in, and I always, it's my irresponsible. I call myself a not responsible gun owner, and this is the reason why. Back then, I'm responsible now. I've corrected my outcomes now, but when things happen and somebody gets shot, you never think about on a cannabis farm what you're going to do with a body and who's with you that is you're going to affect their lives. You never think about this. Yeah. You're always thinking about if someone comes in here, we're going to light them up. Those are your thought process, right?
For sure.
And so, we return fired. Yeah.
Okay.
But, then when light came out, there was a blood trail I had to follow. So it was and I followed it down a ravine for about, couple miles, and
damn.
And you could see where the drag marks were. Anyways, not getting too much into it.
For sure.
But the whole process of knowing, we never found a body, guy got away. So let's just put it that way, right? So I don't know what happened after that. Allegedly. And but that process in my head is I had my homeboys, right? There's Paco, my familia's with me, and we did this shit together, and like we grew some fucking plants and year after year, and you never think about what happens. What do you do? Like, I'm going to prison the rest of my life, and now my best friends, they're going to go home, tell their wives they just had babies, and now this trembling effect. There's no way out of that scenario when other people know, and I put their lives and their family at risk because it's my fucking farm. Yep. I'm leading this thing. I take full responsibility. Sure. So all this processing goes through your head of, what's going to happen and what you're going to do. And, I had backhoes, and I'm like, well, I could put them in a hole and bury them. And then what happens when 6 months later, when word gets out for somebody and it finds out and they come up there, now, what do you do, Yeah. And so that was the biggest lesson in farming I ever had, was that year. And I realized that, if you're willing to pull a trigger and you're not willing to future think this motherfucker out, then you're not responsible to have a gun with a fucking trigger. Like, you're just not. If you're pulling a trigger, you need to understand what the outcome is going to be. You need to fully process it out, right? And so at that point, from that point on, there was no guns on site on any of my farms. There was no retaliation. If someone was going to rob it, they're going to rob it. I'm not putting people's lives in danger. I'm not putting my people's lives in danger by getting shot or going to jail the rest of their lives for growing weed for me. I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was, man, it was a huge learning experiences, and we snapped 2 years down the road. That was when 2016 came, and I grew the biggest farm in Sonoma County. Seed to Soul Farms, that was the name of my farms. And at harvest on that one, it was crazy. That was 193 plants. I just, we harvested a little under 1,500 pounds. That's crazy numbers, right? We were hitting over 7s on plants. It was, 500-gallon smart pots full of Big Roots soil, all organic, and up to 1,000. Crushing this shit.
God damn.
Monster plants. That was where breadwood trees with pineapples. If you ever hear that, it's a tag. You see it. People know that in the industry.
Hell yeah.
And on that one, there was I used to have I had 2 attorneys. One was a piece of shit who ripped us off, but the other one was part of Purple Star in San Francisco. He was an owner, and we had a collective, and in the collective, the Jill Radish, which was Sonoma County cannabis prosecutor and attorney, drug enforcement prosecuting attorney back then. They were flying helicopters over my farm. That was right outside of Santa Rosa off Stony Point Road.
Okay.
Massive farm. Tim Blake and the Emerald Cup was next door to me with a little dinky farm, and I had Dennis and oh shit, I can't think of the name of them next door. Canacraft. They had farms next door. Mine was badass, fucking badass. And so that next year there was word the cops. So Jill Radish put the helicopter in there. My attorneys went to her, went and met her and said, we're not the low hanging fruit anymore. If you come in and raid this farm, we're going to sue you. I had 73,000 patients signed up under my collective.
Oh, damn.
Under the 215 movement then. So I had legal on my side, and I was balls deep on this thing, man. It was great. And so my attorneys went in there and talked to Jill and said, we're not low hanging fruit. If you come in and raid us, not only are you going to pay us our estimated gross yields that we're going to get, my client's not going to have to, he's not going to have to harvest it, trim it, or do nothing, and we're going to sue you guys. This is right when cannabis started becoming illegal, and it was like this gray fucking area, and people were actually suing government, and all this was coming in. And so the helicopters stopped, and Sonoma County sheriffs, man, they used to come and park out front and try to intimidate us all the time. I was untouchable at that point, right? So it was great. And then I heard that the cartel was coming in and was going to rob me. This is about 3 weeks before harvest.
Ooh.
And I didn't know what we were going to do. So, I'm talking to my team and my attorneys. And so I ended up hiring a off-duty sheriff, not an off-duty, a retired sheriff that went private practice, right? And I called him up. I didn't meet him at all. Face-to-face, it was off a phone call. I offered him fucking thousands if he would show up and be the carry, and he would protect from the inside. Right. Dude showed up, met me at 6 o'clock the next morning. I dropped him stacks of cash, and he looked at me and shook my hand and said, "You got the biggest balls ever." That now you got me on the inside. You got Sonoma County Sheriff protecting your entire fucking operation. Nice. And we've all heard you're getting robbed by the cartel. So my life's in fucking danger.
Fuck, dude.
Right. So that was the outcome of not having a carry permit. I ended up hiring a carry permit the next, moving forward, because I didn't want that responsibility.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting through that whole situation in the whole year of 2016. Now they came in the back gate. They kicked in the back wall of one of the greenhouses, and we had these huge greenhouses that were drying rooms, and they probably got like 20 or 30 pounds out of that. That was it. Yeah. But my guy warded them off, man.
Nice.
So
solid, bro.
Yeah, it was so solid.
Solid, bro. Damn.
2016, crushed it.
Shit, man. Yes, you did.
Yeah. So there's that. So after this, I know gun advocacy, and I believe in protecting yourself. I just know that knowledge is bliss, and you have to really understand what responsibility is to being a gun owner. Now I do.
You do.
Yeah.
Dude, especially in California, bro.
Yeah.
Because, man, this ain't Texas.
Or Arizona.
Or Arizona, bro.
I love Arizona.
Dog, Arizona is great. You just throw it on your hip and fucking
you don't have to be in your name.
Right.
You don't have to have a gun registered in your name. I could put it in my pocket.
Straight up, dude. Yeah. I shot a lot of cool guns in California. I think the first cool guns I shot was in Arizona at Ben Avery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun-ass range, bro.
I haven't been there.
SKs and fucking ARs and all kinds of cool shit when I was probably 19.
So that's where the Soil King started, right? And so my family was like, okay, it's time to figure out an exit plan of what you're going to do. And I'm like, okay, I went in the backyard and I pulled out over 100K out of the ground because I used to bury my money, and I started the Soil King Garden Center, Cloverdale, California.
Oh, no shit.
That's
So it's like a drugstore?
What's that?
Yeah, a hydro store?
Yeah, it was a huge garden center with a massive soil yard attached to it.
Nice, dude.
I built that up from nothing, and that's where Soil King really hammered in. I was making soils, Marley mixes, I had my first line of soil was called Marley Mix, Marley Moonshine, Marley Shroom Bloom, and crushing it.
I know Marley Mix. That's you.
Yeah, Marley Mix was me.
Oh shit, dude.
And then I started learning about testing and cleanliness and heavy metals, and this was years before anybody was talking about this. And so I scrapped that brand because I was using municipality green waste compost, and I started testing for things, and it was fucking riddled with pesticides and herbicides and stuff. So I said, okay, I need to start all over. And that's where Big Roots started. And I just wanted something super clean that I can stand behind and, use it myself and give it to my homies to grow the cleanest cannabis on the planet.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. That's what's up, man. Do you have or care to share any burying the money tech with us?
Yeah, so I used to do. I still got money buried. I don't know where it is. I moved from houses.
Fuck, bro, for real.
Bro, like this is a common thread in Northern California, Emerald Triangle, about
there's probably a lot
barrels
of
of weed and money and different stuff buried.
Yep.
Right. It's real. That's real shit.
Oh, I've heard from way more than one person about that.
So I used to get like 4-inch, even bigger ABS pipes, and then I'd get
what's the ABS pipe?
ABS is black sewer pipe.
Okay. Plastic
pipe.
Yeah.
And then I'd get the rubber end clamps, that cinch down. And that's how I kept, because I've done other things where water is leaked in. And next thing you know, we got Benjamins that are all fucked up. And one time we sent a bunch of money back to the government, right? The Treasury to give us new stuff because it was half eaten, and they sent it all back. Yeah, I gave it back. Crazy. It wasn't that much, but it was, $10,000. But
they sent it back.
Yeah, I sent it. It gave us
Bro.
And so
wait, sent it back like originally,
my
or
partner sent it.
They sent real money back.
They gave him real money back to go
nice.
replace it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I did. I'd bury it because it was the easiest way, and those caps on the end kept any moisture out.
What the rubber caps? Like I
forget what they're called. You guys know what is out there, but it's a rubber cap, and it's got a C clamp.
It's got a C clamp.
It's got clamped on it. Yeah. Tighten those up.
Okay, nice.
And then the money I pulled out to start the garden center, I gave a map to my father and my best friend. In case something, you never know if something happens to you. I wanted people to know where it is, to be able to take care of my family.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't really remember where I buried it, so I went to both of them, and they said they lost the fucking map. So I ended up digging out the whole backyard, and I found it.
You found it?
Yeah, and I started the Soil King.
How long did it take you?
Oh, it took me probably a few days, a weekend or something like that.
Nice,
I had a few different spots.
Yeah.
It ended up in a raised bed, and before I built this big raised bed out of redwood, before I built it, I put it in the ground before I put the raised bed on top. So I had to fucking remove this whole raised bed to dig underneath it.
Shit.
But that was like X marks the spot on a raised bed. I wasn't thinking how much work it was going to be to get it back out, but that's where the mat was. Yeah.
So what do you do with the bread though? Like, do you wrap the bread? Do you vacuum seal it?
Yeah, totally vacuum
Triple
seal
vacuum seal it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then put it in the tube
Totally.
and then put it up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But how far down you bury it? 6 feet?
I mean, it's low. It's not even. Not even? I'm lazy,
Yeah.
I'm just laying pipe a few feet down.
A few feet down?
Yeah.
Cool.
Not even that, probably. Like a foot down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been curious. I was very close to doing it once, semi-recently. And I had everything you just said except for the rubber clamps. I was trying to, because I had the plastic one at the end. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to use to seal this thing? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Don't seem right. I think it's going to get fucked up. I think it's going to leak. And I like the rubber with the C clamps.
Yeah, that was the way to do it. I mean, I haven't done that in a while because, you don't get suitcases of money every other week to go get product. It's crazy.
Yeah. For sure. That's cool, man.
It was good times, though. That's when we all made money back there.
Yeah, right.
Amen. A lot of money.
Amen. So what's after the Soil King store, man?
Yeah, so
comes after that.
So the Soil King, I built that empire on that in Northern California, and then when licensing, for California, I was if not the first, I was one of the top 2 or 3 micro license given in the state of California. Pretty sure I was number 1. But I prepared my city, which is the city of Cloverdale, to be the first city to be able to receive and operate cannabis licenses. So we were operating right out the gate with licenses in my city. I started activism years before Prop 64, educating the council and the city. I started with 1 out of 5 yes votes. And after a few years, I ended up, when licensing came, I got a 5 out of 5 yes votes. So, and I put Proposition P on the ballot because they told me, we all believe in you, we vote in you, but we don't believe our city people, our constituents, would vote for this. And so the city manager came to me. He goes, well, it's turned down. And I said, well, what if I put a proposition on the ballot and we get the city to vote for it and I get over 50%? Well, then you'll do it. I mean, you'll get it. He goes, they didn't think I was going to do that. Right? I didn't think that would happen. And we got well over 50%.
Oh, cool.
On Proposition P. It's Proposition P for Proposition Pot, right?
Nice.
We put it on the ballot and voted in. So we were in before Prop 64. We were a first approved city in the state of California to receive cannabis licensing.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
What's up, fam? Just want to take a second to shout out my sponsors over at Buck Mountain Cannabis Delivery. Single source flower, rosin, hash holes, and pre-rolls. All produced in the Sierra foothills of Nevada County. Always fresh depths and light assist direct from the farm. Their product is never more than 6 months old from harvest. Grown with passion and obsession to produce the best sun-grown cannabis possible. And if it's from Buck Mountain, you know it's smoking. Serving Grass Valley and Sacramento. Go check out the menu at buckmountaincannabis.com. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. What was this, 2016?
And we're working on 2016 going into 17.
2017, nice, dude.
And then I built Seed to Soul facility, which was, we started running rosin through their fields. We did a bunch of different rosin for a bunch of different players and in-house distribution. We had distribution. I had my nursery. We did all kinds of shit underneath that license.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Is that where Rosin Tech falls in line?
Yeah. So they were building out. They were trying to build out licensing back before Rosin Tech and Torrance was Rosin Tech Labs. And Sam and I were, we've been partners in working on solventless forever. I mean, that was our gig. And he was building out his, I was building out mine, and we're just like, fuck, we're just better together. So, nice. We joined forces on that, and it's it's been a rocky but great relationship, man. And in this industry, those that you started with when you're still standing with, it means something, man. We can't. It's hard, man. It's easy to blame everybody else for things that go wrong, but we all were under the same fucking weight load of government and everything else. I mean, we were forced to fail, right? So all that hating amongst one another, and this guy's fucking me, this guy's fucking me. At the end of the day, you got to remember we're better together, man. It's hard on all of us. I could put millions into this industry and into licensing and stuff, and I still ain't fucking seen a return on that shit. I'm just still standing.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Right? Pioneering. Outlaws are the pioneers, man. We're still fucking here, dude. Man. Still here.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I get that feeling too. I couldn't imagine how you feel. Like, you've been in it for many moons, brother.
Yeah, and then 2020. It's crazy, man. 2021. And Soil King, I sold almost $6 million in soil that year. Crazy numbers. And in 22, I sold 80,000. That's when the collapse happened. And so everybody felt it in Northern California and across the, the ripple effect as you've seen it go on. It was it was insane. And so it was hard to hold on. I ended up in 23 going bankrupt on the Soil King Garden Center. That's when I bounced and moved to Phoenix, and it's hard, man. It was like watching, I watched a $10 million valuation of a company and $3 million in assets and cash go away overnight.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because my expectation for 22 was 8 million, not 80,000.
Yeah.
And so it caught all of us off guard. And I'm building inputs for all these soils to produce that much. And it was just like, it was a fucking nightmare. But everything I went through between then and now is the reason I'm here today. Like I'm the best fucking version of me I've ever been because of going through this shit. I really am, man.
Good.
Built by it.
Hell yeah, bro. That's Yeah, that sucks, bro. That sucks when you have to let go of something like that.
It really is,
know?
man. And then you get hate from our community. You're going bankrupt. People are sharing shit. And it's like half of this fucking country in cannabis have gone out. We went from, 11,000 farmers in Mendocino down to fucking less than 100 overnight. Everybody failed. You look at garden centers across the country, 50% of them are gone.
Yeah.
Our government destroyed us.
Yeah,
Fucking
absolutely.
destroyed us.
Absolutely.
Across the board, right? Overtaxed and underdelivered. It's like crazy, man.
Yeah. That with the raids and all that shit, bro. Like
trying to do business in California was it just turned into a nightmare. COVID hit. They came into my garden center. I was like, the city came in and said, you got to shut your store down. It's not important business is another word they use, right? Yeah. And I'm like, essential business. And I'm like, a grocery store is essential. I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm teaching people how to grow food in their backyard. I am more essential than the fucking grocery store.
Yeah.
Like I'm teaching. I had junior farmers. I had food farmers. And, it's no segregation in agriculture. We did everything. Botanicals, cannabis for going through COVID, like anxiety, all that stuff. I was like, I'm an essential motherfucker. You're going to close me down?
Yeah.
So I told them, get the fuck out of my store. They brought the sheriffs back. They brought the police back. I told them all, get the fuck out of here. I ain't shutting nothing down. And right. I kept operating right through it. Finally left me alone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yo,
you got to wear a mask. I'm like, if you don't want to come to the store, some of my employees wear masks and I didn't. And it was like, I would during certain things, but I'm like, nobody's going to force me to do this shit. I'm like, we can do business out in front of my store. And, out of respect, I'm giving back. I also want respect in return, man. My microbiome's solid, man. I eat my own fucking compost. Like I know this motherfucker right here is ready for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that held strong through the pandemic and didn't shut their doors. I know there was some, what comes to mind is this badass gym owner out here in, I forget where about, like Fair Oaks area. He was like, fuck you. I ain't shutting shit down. Working out is essential for like getting through this shit, man.
Yeah.
Staying healthy and shit like that. And he fucking held his fucking sword, held his flag, bro.
I had nurseries. I had all plants started, I was selling soil and teaching people how to grow their own food in their backyard. And that's what was needed.
Solid, bro. God damn. So then you moved to Arizona, right?
Yeah, and had was rebuilding everything.
Yeah, what you got going on out there, bro?
I got a shop in Tempe, and I have a distribution and e-commerce shop, and I'm a manufacturer of product and a distributor to a lot of things out there too. Plus
in cannabis?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I do that in California, but on the picks and shovel side.
Picks and shovel side.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So soil, fertilizers, biologics, trim machines, all kinds of stuff I do.
Cool.
And I sell, the soilking.com, which I've always had. I sell off that, Amazon.
Nice.
And then I have stores all over the country that are wholesale accounts that I send soil products to as well.
Gotcha.
And commercial farms I work with all over the country as well.
Not even necessarily cannabis farms.
Food and cannabis.
Food and cannabis.
Yeah.
There you go. That's great, man. That's great.
That's fucking make the world healthy again. Shit,
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a long time, man. Been my thing. So now I got a team, some people talking the same language out there. It feels good.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. That's cool. Well, it's good, man. You look, in this life and business, you always have to reinvent yourself, bro.
Totally.
And keep fucking going. And it seems
True,
like that's
man.
what you've been doing, man.
Yeah, I mean that's. And what am I gonna do?
What are you gonna
Am I
do?
gonna fucking quit?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? What I know? I know how to hustle.
Yeah.
I know how to hustle. Let's fucking hustle.
That's right.
And when you can't hustle, you're building yourself. You got to figure this shit out. There's no
dude.
roadmap. There's no roadmap.
Yeah. Yeah. Also wanted to touch on the podcast, bro. You're a fellow podcaster, man. So let's talk about your podcast a little bit, man.
Yeah,
when did that start? And what's
it started a few years ago, and it was Legends of Legacy podcast. I do panels, discussions, and I bring panels called the Soil King Legends of Legacy across the country.
Okay.
Have a spot in KC Cannafest this year. We're bringing Swami and Nikki out, and so I do these things. And so the podcast was going to be, that's what it was going to be. It was going to be a Soil King Legends of Legacy podcast. And after going through the breakdown of business, you know, I went through, you know, I'm a survivor of fucking suicide, like throw it all out there. Like I went through some shit to find who I am right now, you know, and losing I built an empire and I retired at 52. I'm 56 and never worked so hard in my life. And there's a purpose behind all that tragedy. And
of course.
The hardest part going through it is that when I'm going through all this business collapse, you know, you go to call attorneys on bankruptcy. You go, you know, you're trying to find out how do you make the next move? How do you stay relevant? How do I get rid of all these assets? How do I manipulate the system? How do I figure this shit out? Like, how do I survive? Like, I wasn't ready for this, right? So I'm going on YouTube and I'm trying to look up all this shit. I'm calling attorneys. Every attorney has a different fucking solution with a pay number. Right? They want fucking $5,000, you know, and or more. And they all had different things. And so I'm sitting there trying to process this whole devastating situation I'm going through and trying to figure it out. And I realized that I have a mentor. His name's Dr. Greg Reed. It's a millionaire billionaire club. And he's called the $1 Million Mentor. And he's actually my mentor. He called me up one day last year and said, what's the number one thing you've been wanting to do and you haven't fucking executed yet? And I'm like, this was a Thursday night. And I go, well, it's the podcast. He goes, great. You have till Tuesday fucking morning to get it done and host your first one. And I'm like, fuck, Tuesday morning. I have to find I didn't have shit, right? I had to go find a studio. I had to pay. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't just, I'm like,
yeah.
And he goes, and so I'm like, man, it's Legends of Legacy, you know, podcast, Soil King. I go, it doesn't fit right now, just not fitting. And so I'm like, what do I really want to drive home with this podcast about? And I'm like, it's built for this. Why am I built for this? What did I have to go through? Why I need to talk about other people in the cannabis and business industry that have gone through failure and are still relevant and standing. How did they get through it? What did they grab onto? Did they find God? What did they find? All that important information is super important for all of us to talk about. If you're like me and you've gone through this and you're still standing in anything in life, it could be divorce. I mean, it could be going through hell in anything. Those hell moments, what did you grab onto? What lifted you to keep going? How did you break fucking barriers? And talk about that, because guys like me out there are searching for these resources and are not fucking there.
Yeah.
Like, so that's where Built for This came up, right? So really jammed into Built for This and bringing that part of it, you know, to the team. And it's just, my life is so busy. Last year I did podcasts. I just recorded a bunch more. And, so this year we're recording more now. Bro. So it's been hard though. I do trying to launch 4 a month. Yeah. It's fucking difficult. It's a lot of fucking work, man. I'm a busy motherfucker out there.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's a lot, bro.
So that's where Built for This kind of it came, and I love the thought of it. And I was taking it to all the big agriculture, because there's no segregation in agriculture to me. There's just cannabis is what it is, and it's part of agriculture. It's the most important part of agriculture because it's set testing limits so fucking high for the rest of agriculture to come up with on, you know, regenerative ag and clean products. So
I love the concept, bro. It sounds fucking awesome.
So that's where that is on that.
And we need that shit. We need that real talk, man. How'd you do it? How'd you get through it? What did you grab onto, you know?
Yeah. How'd you get through suicide without killing yourself? It's a fucking topic we should be talking about.
It is, bro. You know, I lost my brother to suicide, man. It's no joke, bro.
It's no fucking joke, man.
No joke at all.
My kids, the flash of my kids cleaning up the mess was the only reason I didn't do it.
My bro right here. My bro Ills lost him to suicide, lost him to opiates, bro.
No respect.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked up,
That's
bro.
the shit we need to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, the struggle before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
That's important.
Check on your people, man.
Check on your people.
Ills was probably the strongest from the naked eye. The strongest in the crew. The youngest and the strongest. Yeah. The most thorough, the most fucking advanced, the most fucking fill in the blank, bro. The list goes on. And he died at 18, bro. We were young men. You know what I mean? Young men back then,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, dude. And Boogie died 9 years ago on Saturday. You know? He started with the rocket sets, the Roccos, the Perk 30s. And then those are getting expensive. And then, we can't get those. There's heroin all over our neighborhood. And they sell dope. My friends sell dope. So he starts doing that. And then it's like, he don't want to tell none of us. He don't tell us he got problems. So we don't know how to really help you or do any of that, bro. And then, we get a call.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing. Because, he knows how we all feel about that stuff. And he just kept it a secret. And then, he had his first son, Jason. He was a NICU baby. He was all fucked up in the hospital. But, he was pulling through. And then, his son's still in the hospital. His wife, he finds him in the bathroom one morning, 9 years ago, 2 days ago, with a needle in his arm, bathroom door locked, a month after his son's born. This fucking kid's still in the hospital. It was a fucking nightmare, bro. And that's why I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. That's why I gotta move out of here, man. This is surrounded by too much death and destruction, bro. I was like, this is getting old, bro.
You got him with you right now.
Yeah,
you got them with you right now. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Those that aren't with us,
guys, man.
you bring them along for the
bros.
journey, man. They're still right here. They're guardian angels. Man. All that shit's real, man.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's all good, bro. After time, it gets a little easier,
Yeah.
Never completely heals, but, you learn to live with it.
Well, memories are good.
And memories are good, bro.
So, you never forget. The idea is if I die tomorrow, man, don't forget me. That's all I ask.
Yeah, man. And as the old saying go, you only die after the last person alive knows you enough to speak their name, or you know what I'm saying? As long as people still talking about you, you still alive, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. These are pretty cool. I like these. These are little
dog walkers.
Little hash walkers.
Little hash walkers. Yep.
Yeah. So
infused.
Yeah, they're all infused.
Nice.
Killer ice hash.
Let me see.
And cool, good weed.
Tight,
super
bro.
Smooth.
Tight. 0.4s, yep. Perfect.
Yeah, these are great to throw in your pocket.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. So what's the next 5 years look like for the Soil King, brother? What you got? What's on the horizons?
There's a lot. Who fucking knows? I'm here
right?
today. Where am I going to be tomorrow? I'm going to be somewhere. Yeah. I know this. I know that God brought me to this point for a purpose, and there's a reason I'm moving forward in the direction I am. And when those doors collapsed and slammed shut on me, I learned to turn around and walk this way, and there's a whole fucking world out there waiting for me. And my purpose is to make a difference, and it's regenerative agriculture, and it's clean testing, and it's fucking organic weed, indoor, outdoor, and greenhouse. That's my calling, that's my direction, and it's my passion and my purpose. I love it. Jump into big ag. I'm trying to get in big ag. We're doing some real big stuff on 30,000 acres of soy. Okay. We're converting to organic. There's just a lot of different stuff on a bigger level that I'm trying to get to.
Good.
So
sounds like you're well equipped to do that.
Yeah, I'm positioned well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that, bro.
Financially, still tough, I'd say, it's just the way it is, but, there's a pathway in front of me, and I just keep moving forward. And there's greatness right down this road, man.
That's right. Yeah. You ain't come this far to come this far.
Fuck no, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not a chance.
Hell yeah.
I'm here for a reason.
What do you know that the industry should know? Or what are you calling bullshit on out there in the cannabis industry?
I hate to talk a lot about it, but I have to talk about a few things.
Fire away.
I know that. Let's talk about breeding.
Let's talk about
about breeders, right? And it pisses people off, but I don't mean it this way. It's hard because I have watched. I've done years and years, have my own genetics. I don't call myself a breeder. Why don't I call myself a breeder? I did years of breeding projects. I'd crack 1,100 seeds in a greenhouse. I'd bring them all the way to their full potential of teenagers. I'd pheno hunt the fuck out of them, and out of 1,100 seeds of one cultivar, I'd end up with a couple males and maybe 4 females, and that's breeding project, okay? And so I know breeders out there that spend their life and they dedicate their life to this, this culture, who have came from, areas in life where you got 10 years for fucking a couple seeds, and have, right? For that matter. And so those are people that put their life and energy into this, I give the title of breeder. And that's important to recognize on the breeder level. There's a lot of other people that are new in the game, you know, hate the word pollen chucker, but are just like, you know, taking, you know, are doing things and not, those aren't breeding projects, you know. F1s are good, you know, you can find some gems. But I don't walk into a construction site as a journeyman electrician who's never put a tool bag on in my life and say I'm a journeyman electrician. Okay, that's fucking earning the ladder. That's walking. That's the knowledge of putting it into action to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, this is one thing that always bothered me in this industry is I know real geneticists and breeders that aren't here anymore, and you know that title means something to me, I would say.
Sure.
And so there's nothing wrong with anything with you know messing with seeds and creating your cultivars and getting that. Just know that, you know, I mean, what defines, I guess, what in the comments, like what defines the word breeder to you? Like, I want to know. That's a discussion we should have.
Sure.
You know, what does a breeding project look like in order to step your way up to the title breeder? And what does that look like? You know, I think that's important. And
sure.
Because it takes away from those who gave their life to this, that should be getting those higher rewards for their seeds.
Oh yeah.
Versus other people. So that's one thing in the industry that you know kind of burns me a little bit, that I want to start dialogue and conversation with, you know, out of respect for the breeders.
Who are some of your favorite breeders?
Oh man, I mean
Shout out
Lawrence Ringo, right? Lawrence Ringo was I mean Lawrence Ringo, he created Ringo's Gift, the 21, the Stanley Brothers for when they came out with Charlotte's Web. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
So Charlotte's Web came from Lawrence Ringo in Northern California.
Oh shit. Okay,
So,
I didn't know that.
And the Stanley Brothers went out there and met him and brought back the seeds and never gave him honors of him being down the heritage for creating that cultivar. And Lawrence said, you know, a lot of us were upset seeing all this, but Lawrence said, does it really even matter if it saved one child?
Yeah, that's a fact.
And it was like a hit, but it still hurts, but I understand that. He passed away.
You're a homie. The homies don't want to see that, but the enlightened one, the one that can give that away for the greater good.
A few years later, he passed away, and so he left that grace. And does it really matter?
No, it don't.
They took Charlotte's Web, put it on Charlotte, and saved, you know, created this whole thing. There was a whole other side of CBD coming in, like medicinal played
that's
the
when it
part.
hit the name mainstream, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
With that story.
Yeah.
I was on the East Coast when I heard that story. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit hit home. It was a beautiful story.
It helped our industry evolve.
There you go.
It really helped the industry evolve. So he was right, you know. So yeah, you know, and there's some other people that are out there.
That's tight, bro. You know, speaking
James Loud's a great one too. I've always
that's the homie. I was just with James earlier this week, or no, last week rather. Yeah, and that's a perfect segue into what I'm about to say. So James Loud gifted me a little bit of that preferred Mixed Light Z, and let's talk about this for a second. How did you word it? Progress in the game.
You know, it's what happens when you smoke weed.
Moving
right?
the game, pushing the culture forward, changing the game. Like so, there was this big shout out to my homies Proper Doinks, who did this Z battle, the Skittles battle. Yeah. And Be Easy was the first one to say, "Yo, I got 10 bands on my Z. What's up?" And then another fella came in. Forgive me, I forget the name. And then another fella came in, and then Bay Area's Flavors came in, and Up the Hill came in, and then fucking Preferred came in, and Preferred Gardens. You know Dave from Preferred? You ever met him? You've heard of him? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're not homies.
No doubt. I'll have to link you guys up, man. I think you guys would hit it off. He entered Mixed Light Z, and everything else was indoor, and he fucking took hthem down one by one, bro.
Man. That's how it goes, baby.
Yo, and James was nice enough to give me a couple joints of it, and god damn, dog, like it was so good, bro. Yeah. From the nose to the look. I mean, let's be real, like indoor Z kind of looks like fucking depths anyway. You know what I'm saying? Or nice outdoors. So it's like when I looked at this, it's like this makes fucking perfect sense, bro. And I was like, I called it, but I was like, he's gonna win, bro. He's gonna fucking win. He won 60 bands.
That's awesome.
Yesterday, actually.
Oh, fucking good for him.
Fresh off the
Oh,
press.
man.
And just
Good
shout
for
out
you.
to everybody involved. Shout out to Proper Doinks for even putting that on. Shout out to all the contestants and shout out to all the memes you guys made up, like dissing each other. It was like a whole ass rap battle. It felt like a smack DVD. Yeah, that was cool, man. It's cool. Pushing the culture forward.
Pushing the culture forward. That's
yeah.
it. I mean, it's pioneering again, man. We look at.
It's fucking cool.
I grabbed the belt loop of people who passed the baton to me, right?
Yeah.
And they're still holding on. Swami's one. He's
Goddamn
my.
right.
You know, he's.
He's cool, bro. He's from fucking Jersey. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I met him at it was either Hall Flowers or Emerald, and we're chopping it up. And I was like, somehow that was mentioned that I was from Jersey. He's like, I'm from Jersey too,
Yeah,
man.
he's from
like,
Jersey and New York.
So all the
family.
badasses are from Jersey. I'm like, what the fucking right? I was like, I like this guy, man.
Yeah, those are my family, my peeps. Nikki
Yeah.
and Swami, I'm taking them out to. Let's talk about some events and shit.
Yeah,
I'm
talk
doing.
about it, bro.
So
What's
I'm an
going on?
MC and a host at a lot of these events.
I can
Last
see that. You
couple
got a
of
good
years,
voice for that.
I do that shit, and I love it. You know, like, so this year I'm hosting and MCing KC Cannafest on 420 weekend. It's 418 and
Okay.
19. Swami and Nikki are coming out there with us. We got a big Airbnb. I do a Legends of Legacy panel 2025, Soil
Okay.
King Legends of Legacy panel.
Nice.
Swami's going to do. He's going to do an educational panel. Nikki's going to do women in the industry
Beautiful.
panel. And I have Michael Gonzalez. If you guys have ever watched the show Intervention, right? It's an intervention on A&E. It's live
know if
about
I've seen that.
people doing interventionalists come in and people
Okay,
are getting loaded and
sure.
die. So Michael Gonzalez, a great friend of mine.
Nice.
He's a tall guy with long hair with tattoos on his neck. He's one of the counselors, and so he's coming out there with me. He's green and sober with me. He came out on my podcast out of
Solid,
A&E and
bro.
just woke everybody up and said, "I've been smoking weed like Soil King in recovery for many, many years." And he came out on my
No shit,
podcast
man.
and dropped that.
Hell yeah.
And
Breaking
out of
news.
being A&E's fucking, you know, he's
Tight.
yeah, it was pretty. So he's coming out. We're doing at every event that I'm hosting this year, and there's a few so far that are lining up. But every event I do a green and sober hour meeting before the event. So we open it up like an AA meeting.
That's cool,
Right?
man.
It's going to be green and sober, and then we'll do a green and sober segment on it. And anyways, Michael Gonzalez he's coming out there. He's a big influencer, and we're going to give him a panel spot. Him and I do a Q&A of what is green and sober on stage. So
Nice.
that kind of shit.
Nice, bro. I love that. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool that you're bringing that into the game, bro.
It needs to, man.
Because there's people in that crowd that need to fucking hear that. You know that. We're
Yeah.
all misfits and rebels. Like, yeah, we're in the weed game, but there's a lot of shit on the outskirts that's always floating around our world. You feel me?
Well, in our industry, we need a place to go, right? If you're not
Yeah.
accepted in an AA meeting in our industry, there's a lot of
that
us. So
too.
we need to support each other. This is how I relapsed, multiple times
Yeah.
because there was no outlet for me, right? I need my brothers and sisters, man. I need people to call me on my shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
straight
yeah,
up.
yeah,
I need to work the fucking steps around some fucking shit. My whole life I do, right? And my whole life. It's recovery for me on anything that happens throughout a day or a week or a month. It's the first 3 steps for me. It's I can't, he can, and I think I'll let him. That's raising your hand. I'm going into me. I can't do this. Step 1, you can't, right? Power. And step 2, a power greater than myself, whether that's whatever that is to grab a hold to. I can't. There's something out there that can get me through this. And then surrender. Step 3, man, just fucking break down. I think I'll let him. And that kept me from being on the fucking wall my entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've saved myself because of this shit in my life. I'm still here talking to you today because of the fucking rooms of recovery.
Yeah,
Nobody's
blessed,
taking
bro.
my fucking seat away from me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm green and fucking sober and proud.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I
It's
do.
time to fucking stand up for our community in every fucking way.
Yeah.
We get looked at constantly, the cannabis community, as, they're not better than. Look at in fucking government, we're going to tax you like this. You're not a commodity like agriculture. All the fucking hate we get from over here, and alcohol's better than cannabis. Go fuck yourself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Straight up.
We count.
Yeah.
And unless we stand up in fucking numbers and say, fuck you, motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
I do.
And I say, fuck you, motherfuckers. I'm here. This is my seat. I'm taking it. Who's sitting next to me? Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it's about, man.
Motherfucking right. Motherfucking right.
That's what it is, man.
Hell yeah.
Stand
Hell
up,
yeah.
have confidence, and make a fucking difference.
I
Right?
love that. I love that. Hell yeah.
Pioneering, straight up.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep. So now we're gonna play a little game, Pat. It's called Fuck One, Marry One, Kill One. But we're talking weed strains, okay? So fuck one's the best experience you ever had with weed. This whatever strain that was, like, god damn, this was just the most enjoyable moment in my whole life. Now you got a long timeline, so just take a second to think about it. The married is the everyday smoke. You can smoke this strain every day. And the kill one is like, we don't need that one anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great how you evolve. We evolve differently, right? When I was younger, it was like, I need to get high and I need to fucking lay down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to think, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that doesn't work for who I am anymore because I don't want my brain to shut off. I want my brain to keep going.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
you know, I would say these days, I would say the real, I would say the one that if I'm depressed and I need to come down, there's real gas out there that'll fucking hit me hard with it. Even a GMO or something crossed into it will put me out, right?
Okay.
You know, I don't like to tap into that too often, you know, during the day because I get up in the morning, I go
Got shit to do.
I go to the gym, right? I hit the fucking bag, I box, and then I hit the pile. And before I go in, I'm smoking my rosin pin.
Nice.
Right? Or hitting off one of the joints or you know, that's what I'm doing before I hit the bag. And if I don't do that, and you can relate to this, I'm sure my whole head is like in work mode. And so I'm focusing on this bag, right? And I'm not focusing on what I'm doing, how I'm calibrating my moves. I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on what I'm going to do as the next task.
Yeah.
So I smoke weed and I focus on the bag and I fucking skill level goes up. I come out of there, I'm fucking pumped. I don't need to smoke weed all day until I get out of work. Then I go and when I'm on my way home from the fucking office, I fucking smoke one of these. And I go home and Amy and I are smoking. And I just smoke doobies and I smoke rosin pins.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Fire.
you know, my partner's Focus V. Like it's not my thing, man. I'm just smoking doobie. I'm a doobie motherfucking smoker.
Me too.
Right? So
Yeah,
that's
my
what
choice.
it's about for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so going back to the strain, I mean, Whitethorn Rose, right?
Ooh,
You know,
Johnny
so
Casale, let's go.
He's my brother, been for a long time.
Yeah, that's my long lost cousin.
And so depending on what year, some of it's been the best, and then other years I've smoked it, it's given me a little bit of jitteries, but I would say
So-
that is my favorite smoke when I get my hands on it. So
All
I
right.
head up north, and that's what I'm doing. I love a real blueberry muffin. I love the real cut of blueberry. So that's
that
more on
one.
the fruity side. And those are just like traditional ones. I'm really sick of the GMOs. My brother, Brett from California Seed Bank, he's the burger, hash burgers, all that, right?
Yeah.
We went into, which was cool. I had him over at Rosin Tech, our facility last month, or actually beginning of January. And we were looking up what was the highest return. We went in and looked at the records.
Those
the highest
dump.
return.
Those two
and it
dump, bro.
It was Donnie Burger, and it was 7.24. Okay, and so now all the other burgers
Yeah.
and his other cuts are out, and so he just hit one that was over 9, and then he hit one over 11.
Those are BHO
this shit
numbers.
actually happened.
Bro, those are BHO numbers,
Whoa,
bro. You
that's
feel
what
me?
I'm saying. So
Yeah,
imagine
that's
if
like-
you can produce and wash hash,
That's crazy.
and you're getting over twice the yields. Right? So this is where this shit's happening. So exciting
cool.
times on that. And the burger
Yeah.
just fucking the burgers put me in the couch.
Yo, yeah.
It's fucking
absolutely,
too,
absolutely.
it's too much, right?
Yeah,
It's
those
like,
are heavy, bro.
yeah.
Heavy.
So those are like, and you know, you get into a heavier weed, and it, you get sick of it,
Yeah.
you know, because you're smoking it too much. But some of these different fruitier ones, you know, they have a different high.
Mm-hmm.
I love clean weed myself.
Same.
So it's
Same.
got to be super clean weed. I gotta have a smooth smoke.
Yeah.
I gotta taste the tingling on the back of my throat. I gotta taste the terpene on the back of my throat. If I can get to if I can get to the second half of joint and not put it out, it's good weed.
Exactly.
You know, everybody
Definitely.
says smoke it down to the roach. Fuck, man, I don't want the half down to the roach. Most of the time, I ain't smoking down to the roach because I don't like the taste.
Yeah. That's how I QC. That's the fourth part of my QC. It has to smoke all the way through.
Exactly.
Longevity, bro.
And that's how you know, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you know. And when you find that, it's like good. And it's so crazy. These are cool because you can actually take 3 or 4 hits real quick and put them out and hit it again, and you're not getting
you
a
got
burn.
rosin in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, solid. If you could bring back a strain, what would it be? And I'd be interested for this.
Oh, I mean, I remember the AK-47, which is still kind of out there, but real AK was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I did a lot of pulling out of the hash plant. What is it? The Thai weed. So I did, you know, as I was playing with genetics, that's what I pulled. Actually, M80's made out of crosses that I pulled out of that in GDP, my M80 strain. But, you know, I pulled back out the Thai too, and that was kind of cool. I don't know where I was going with that, but your favorite was AK-47.
What would you bring back?
And it's pretty, and when I can cross that with, you know, purples and stuff, the hairs would come out yellow and orange and these beautiful, you know, hand grenade buds.
Yeah.
So it's good crossing on my M80 and M1000s.
That was one of the first, I would say, like kind buds that hit my radar on the East Coast as a shorty, bro. Changed the
Which
game
one,
for
AK
me.
or
AK?
Yeah,
AK, man. Yeah, one of the first branded weeds I ever seen too was like a little fucking looked like a little mint tan with a little logo on it. This is probably like 03, 04, upstate New York.
Yeah.
So super random.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But man, game changer, bro. Let's talk weed etiquette, growing etiquette, whatever etiquette you want to talk about. What grinds your gears? What's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is just, you know, here's my pet peeve. My pet peeve is, as a manufacturer of products, I'm the face of my products, right? I'm a grower. I come from this culture by culturing, right? This is where I am. So when my bags say designed by growers for growers, that means something to me.
Of course.
And so I'm a producer of products that I grow for myself and everybody else on a medicinal level. So for me, everything has to be sourced super clean. And when I create products, I create it for the licensees, right? Those licensed farm or licensed cultivators that are growing weed on a licensed market, because I want them not to hit numbers of heavy metals, pesticides, and contaminants, right? Because my pet peeve in this industry is that I'm watching living soil guys failing by using products that are untested and dirty, and they're failing. And now I'm watching grows that were putting all this money and research into living soil convert back to synthetic cultivation because they lost so much money. And it doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. It's just, we have to all be part of the team. I have farms all over this country. I have years of super successful farms that are contenders and top producers here. And I manufacture products. I look for heavy metals, right? The 4 horsemen are the big ones: cadmium, arsenic, lead, and mercury. There's so much dirty and high levels in products that you find. So that's for me. If I'm a manufacturer and I do it at the level for licenses, and everybody else gets the benefit even though they don't test underneath. And my pet peeve is that other manufacturers don't look at it that way yet. And it's okay, because they need a voice like me out there, talking about it, and you asking questions so we can make a difference and a change. So for me, I don't try not to be an asshole about it.
No, that was.
But I need to get it. Answer. I need to get it out there. We need to talk about it because we can get better.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem
on a few fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What would you say the people have the biggest misconception about you?
I mean, misconception. I mean, fuck, I don't know. There's misconceptions about me. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt.
In this industry here, it's just straight up like this, man. Pioneering isn't easy, right? Pioneering isn't easy. It's not. You go along the way of believing in your purpose, and you're driven to that, no matter what the fucking noise says. This is the end result, and this is what I believe. And sometimes you're going through it, and you're getting, everybody's loving you. And then all of a sudden you go through it, and everybody's throwing darts at you and telling you to fuck off and not believing in you and trying to bring you down. But when you keep your eye on the prize, those same motherfuckers 5 years later are asking for pictures and autographs.
That's right.
Okay, and this is the truth. So you stay to yourself and your purpose always. I'm not always right. Like I make mistakes. What I believe fucking 5-10 years ago on things in cultivation, I don't apply today. I'm ever evolving and I'm learning from other people who are teaching me, and I'm giving back that knowledge, and we're trying to get better at it as at an industry. And that's what it fucking takes. So yeah, our industry is full of people that want to sit back and hate on people.
Yeah,
and you see it all over, but you know, I'm a business fucking builder, right? I'm an industry entrepreneur. Like this is my industry. I fail at things and I succeed at things, and I don't fucking stop, right? So that's setting standards and making a difference. So some things I get wrong and some things I get right. But if I ain't fucking trying, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a fucking doer, man. Yeah. That's why I'm still standing today. And that's why people around me, Sam from Rosin Tech, you got Brandon Parker, he's the same fucking cut from the same fucking cloth.
Yeah.
You know, there's people in this industry that are. They get hated all the time, but deserve the right to fucking stand up. And they don't care what people think. You know, it's between me and my God and where I'm heading in the fucking future. And I know I'm going somewhere.
Yeah. Everybody ain't for everybody.
Everybody ain't for everybody, you know?
Yeah, that's a fact. If you could smoke with two people, one that's dead, one that's still alive, who would they be?
I mean, Eddie left. I would fucking light it up with Eddie right now. He's not here. So I light it up with Eddie all the time.
Solid, bro.
Okay, and the person that would be here right now, I mean, I love smoking with my old lady, Amy.
Nice, dude.
You know, we do that, and that's our thing. You know, we come home at the end of the day, we go outside, we smoke, and we talk, tell our days, and you know, I need that in my life. She's an important person in my life, so yeah, that's the number one that I would like to smoke with and do smoke with. Right? So I'll choose her. Yeah.
Good picks. Good picks.
If I can add in my son PJ, that'd be another one. But,
yeah, we got PJ.
Yeah, add PJ. Yeah.
I like it.
Soil King Jr. for sure.
I like it. So now you're gonna shout your favorite plug from back in the day. Who was your favorite plug on your come up? You called them, they were there for you.
I mean, there's John Jennings, but he's just been somebody that cannabis. Yeah, he helped me crew with me, but as a friend, as a plug, you said you ended with someone that was always there when you called.
Well, okay, with the shit, with whatever you were calling for. But if it's like your man's and like he was there for you on a real friendship things, level, man. Like
one time he called me. This is a true story.
Yeah.
I was hungover. I was in my fucking chonies. His house was getting robbed, and I was still drunk. And I showed up at his house in my fucking underwear with a shot-off sock gun. And I went through the garage and I kicked in the door.
Yeah, you did.
And there was cops in the house.
Oh shit!
Oh, Cloverdale, California. Right, and I fucking turned around, ran back out, jumped in my fucking truck, and drove away.
Damn.
And went home. And I was like, and that's the shit we do for each other, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, there's so many times when you said bring him up, you know, that he showed up in certain situations, got me, tried to, you know, I mean, again, you know, what do you do with weapons when shit happens? You know, that's the guy that would get rid of this. You know what I mean? You have those people.
Sure.
So yeah, there's that. If that's what you meant, that's just who came to my mind. His name's John Jennings, right? He's the one that coined the Soil King.
Shout out to John Jennings.
Yeah.
I'd imagine you're still friends with him. You still talk to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
So June 16th is National Plug Day. Get him a coffee, get him a joint, shoot him a Venmo, you know.
Absolutely.
Give him a shout out.
Wait, when is it?
June 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So, bro, this has been fun, man. This has been fun getting to know you on my show. Before we dip up out of here, man, if you could go back to the young you, the day before you hopped off the porch and got in the game, what would you tell you?
I talk to him all the time. I call him the 12-year-old within, man. Like, that's my homie. He the only one that believed in me was this motherfucking kid inside of me, right? My entire life. Nobody was, I was least likely to succeed. I was, you know, all that shit. You know, a stoner kid with fucking long hair. And that 12-year-old boy inside me, yeah, man, he's you know, we can do this. This ain't no thing. Fuck them all. We got this.
Dog,
he's still here today with me. I still talk to myself. 12-year-old boy within, man.
Yeah, that just hit me, bro.
You know?
Solid.
Yeah. So we're still gangster.
Hell yeah. I needed that today, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, before we dip, man, is there anything you would like to plug? Where can people find you? Let the people know.
Yeah, we got the Soil King. You can Google the Soil King on anything, Instagram, Facebook. You know, I have a lot of Q&A, send me messages. You know, I run my social media accounts, but this year so far I got some events that I'm hosting and doing. One is the KC Cannabis in Kansas City, Missouri. It's going to be banging, about 15,000 people there. I'm bringing Swami and Nikki with a panel. I have Pezbro. If you guys know Pezbro, he's my head of sales for the Soil King now. He's coming out there. We're going to do a hash class before it. So there's a lot of great stuff. You're going to watch. You're going to start seeing a lot of marketing on that. And then the Keefe Cannafest. I love doing that. I host their show. That'll be in March. I think the 17th. No, May. Yeah, 17th. And that's going to be in Illinois. And that's a banging. Illinois is on point, man. I meet some great people around this country.
Solid. I'm going there.
Montana Hemp Fest. Just talking with them right now. And then Michigan Gyms. What is it? Michigan Gyms. I forget the name of that. I'm talking with them. I want to be at that one as well, hosting and
Nice,
bringing
bro.
the Soil King vibe and I got cultivators all over the country. We have a lot of cool stuff going on right now, like how living soil affects plants, heavy metals. All this research and data we're doing is really cool stuff. So keep an eye on really what's going on in that.
Solid, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
You got
Thanks
it,
for coming through, brother.
Yeah, check.
Solid.
Solid.
You already know, man.
Woo!
Woo! We got Soil King in the building. Good pizza. Thank you to all the Patreons. If you haven't, like and subscribe on YouTube, man. Follow us on Twitter. We're now on Twitter getting busy. Fuck Instagram. They're always hating on us, hating on our community, man. But let's keep it positive, man. Soil King, good pizza. Peace, love, good pizza. We up out of here.